Hey, we have fought through everything. We have got through so many entrepreneurs and small business owners, but we have made it to the end with the director, the biggest boss in Winston-Salem when it comes to small business. Mine's Alan, because Alan's really good.
He's definitely a boss.
Alan's a boss too.
He's a boss.
But the biggest boss that I know of in the small business.
In that case,
She gotta put the shades on. Miss Karen, this is the grand finale of it when it comes to the Venture Cafe. Thank you for having me out here. Even though y'all didn't know I was even coming out.
I know, you know what? I love the fact that you just kind of showed up.
Yeah.
A couple of weeks ago, we had our first flash mob.
Oh really?
Yeah, it was a bunch of Hispanic women Zumba dancers.
Gotcha.
And they just came in and they just took over the place, and it was so energizing and so fun. So come back anytime. This is awesome.
Hey, I appreciate it.
Yeah, we're excited to have you.
I'm happy to be here. I've been here 11 times.
Well, what has the experience been like for you tonight? The stories that you've heard, and what have you...
Great. And it's great because it's like, instead of me going out and having to find people and tell them, hey, come up to the tower, do this, and boom, 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 I literally just say, hey, I need to just go out here real quick. And I've done it before because most of the times if I'm in Greensboro or whatever, I might meet with an artist, or I might go to a small business establishment or whatever, and then just record there real quick. But for me to be somewhere where a bunch of folk are in, like-minded folk are here doing stuff, it's a little bit different.
Very cool.
And it's pretty cool.
Good. I'm so glad.
Hey, it's awesome. So how did you start off? Let's get into that story first.
So, I started as an entrepreneur when I was about maybe 6. I mean, I've been told this story is really cheesy, but it's true.
Hey.
So my dad was a big organic gardener, and he always planted more vegetables than my mom could basically cook or freeze.
Hey,
so I was like, that looks like an opportunity for me to make a little bit of money.
That's
so I would take the leftover vegetables from my dad's garden that my mom didn't want, and I literally put them in my little red wagon. And honestly, I'm not kidding.
That's great.
And I walked it around the block.
That's great.
I would sell it, for like a tomato for a nickel, whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever it was when I was, ancient years ago.
when you were growing up, that's it.
When I was growing up, 3 years ago. And, it's not like I made $1 million, but I learned the power of, asking for a sale.
Definitely. And
having what people wanted, or they would ask me for something. I'd say, well, we didn't grow that this year, but we can grow it next year.
Gotcha.
So from there, I actually graduated to selling petunias.
Oh, man.
Right?
Yeah.
How many?
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what. The first year, I wanted enough money to buy a baseball glove because I grew up in a neighborhood where there weren't any little girls and it was all little boys, and so I learned how to play baseball, not softball, and I can throw a football with a spin, right?
Oh, man.
Yeah, I can. Don't even doubt me on that.
No, I'm not.
So I started this business selling petunias, and I did it for about 3 or 4 years, and every year I got a little bit bigger, and I always met all my financial goals.
Mm-hmm.
But it taught me about keeping track of my expenses because I had to reimburse my dad.
That's good.
I had to buy the seeds, I had to buy the fertilizer, and the little plastic 6-packs. But I've got it in my garage right now, I promise. If you were to come to my garage right now, you would see hanging on the wall a hand-painted sign that I made that says petunias, red, white, blue, $1.75 a dozen, and then the address of my parents' house.
That's it.
And that is how every day when I drive into my garage, I'm like, that's how you get started. With
That's
just
it.
a little. It doesn't take very much.
It doesn't. It doesn't.
It doesn't take very much. And if you can teach a kid that, or if you can encourage that, or help unlock that in somebody else,
Definitely.
That's the whole game.
I wish I had the tenacity to really, you have a focus when it comes to the business stuff. I know that. I'm more of a creative, so I care about the creative stuff a whole lot more.
Yeah.
And I fall short on the business stuff, so that's my struggle with that. So that's what I'm trying to work on. But I do have certain things from childhood and younger and stuff that remind me of, I remember when I thought of this, or I remember when I did this too. So to have that sign up there that you still have is excellent. Me having one of my first CDs, because I was a manager of a rap group, and for me they were the biggest thing in Pensacola. They were the biggest.
Okay.
Yeah, biggest.
Pensacola's biggest rap band.
That was it.
What was the name of the band?
850 Enterprises. 850 because our area code was 850, and then we tried to be corporate, so we said we're gonna put Enterprises on it, and that's it. And so I got the. I remember this too. I set up the meetings with the producers. Yeah. We recorded in my mom's attic, closet. I got all the. I learned. I literally learned Photoshop to do the cover.
That's motivation right there.
That was it. Like, and that's how start doing graphics and stuff. I was like, I gotta learn this so we can get this cover, so I don't have to spend extra money and stuff. So it was just like learning those little things or whatever. Yeah. So that was my little story. That was your story.
So you know what, Promise? I was just having a conversation with someone here tonight who is an engineer, and he was telling me about his product, and I can tell that his love is all about the product because he was showing me all these pictures on his phone of his clips.
Yeah.
And like, that's cool, but like, I'm not an engineer. I don't get excited about clips. But what this guy needs, he's good at product design, and you're good at creative, right? So the whole key is to know what you're good at, and then surround yourself with people that are good at the things that you're not good at.
That's right.
Right. So I applaud your self-awareness. That is, in my opinion, the single most important aspect of being an entrepreneur.
Oh yeah.
Because if you think you can do it all, not only are you going to burn out super fast, you're not going to do things well, and you're going to be lonely. And being an entrepreneur is hard.
It is.
And it doesn't have to be lonely. So if you find other members of your tribe that are like, hey, Promise, I love what you're doing creatively. Let me bring you in on my enterprise, and you take over the marketing or the package design or the production or whatever it is that you are like really awesome at.
Yeah.
And where your gap is on the business side.
Yeah.
So you might need somebody to be like, hey, here's a great way to look at. Here's a way to help you understand cash flow.
Oh no, trust me. Right now in life, I know my cash. I understand cash flow perfectly because I got it like that. So
there's no cash to flow.
There's no cash to flow.
Hey, Richard, what's going on, man? How are you?
Doing great. Good to see you.
No, come here.
Come on in, get in here.
Say something real quick.
Hey, great to be here at Adventure Cafe. You got the greatest leaders in the world here. You're missing out if you're not here. You don't know it.
I didn't even pay him. Hey, thank you.
And the bill's coming.
Oh, the bill's coming. I still have a sticky upstairs that says exit data.
All right.
I'm working on that.
Okay.
All right.
I didn't see it when I came in.
It's by my desk.
You heard it here. She promised.
I'm doing it.
She promised.
Hey, I have something I want to run by you.
Okay.
Can you see a few minutes later?
Sure, be glad to.
Okay, because it's big.
Oh, I like that.
No, it's big.
I'll let you.
So we're going to take
It's big.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm here.
All right, you heard it here first. All right. That guy is an awesome entrepreneur.
Excellent.
You should interview him next.
I will. I can't. I have to get these wings. Like, I was supposed to get the wings at 7:30 and it's 8 o'clock, but I had to get the interview with you because guess what? Yo, you show so much love, and I'm trying to, give it back the way I can.
Oh, thank you so much.
For real.
I appreciate it.
For real. So, let everybody know what they can do when they get down here, how much, this has grown.
Oh my gosh. So guys, we launched in May of 2017, and we have several metrics that we say, how are we doing?
Yeah.
Right? And one of them is how many visits have we logged? So we've been at this not quite 2 years. We have logged over 12,000 visits from over 4,000 unique individuals across the state, and some from Southside Virginia.
That's crazy.
And here's one thing that I'm really, really proud of. So there are 8 venture cafes around the world. We are by far the smallest one.
Yeah, no, I didn't even know that because I think I saw something on IG. Was it IG or Facebook?
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, wait a second. There's more venture cafes, but it's like they're in big cities.
They're in big cities. We're a huge experiment. So it's in Boston, St. Louis, Miami, Philadelphia, Tokyo, Sydney, Australia. What am I leaving out? Rotterdam, and Winston-Salem.
That's crazy.
Right?
That's crazy.
So if we can make it work here, we're the prototype for the rest of the world.
That's crazy.
To happen in small and mid-sized cities. So we're trying to crush it every week.
That's what I'm talking about.
And this is what we do, right? So every week, as you have seen, and you've heard some of the stories here, we have this miniature conference on Thursdays at Bailey Power Plant from 5 to 8.
Definitely.
And here's what happens. From 5 to 6, you come in after work, you grab a beer, it's on me. You grab a cup of Cam's coffee, you grab a little buffalo chicken dip.
Shout out to Cam because I think he made national news or whatever. A lot of folk I know was like sharing his post or whatever the case is.
Yeah.
So he's doing an excellent job.
So you know what? Cam's one of my favorite stories. So when Cam started as our coffee partner about a year ago, you know, Cam wouldn't look people in the eye. Mm-hmm. He wouldn't start conversations. He would get involved in conversations, and now he checks people in. He goes to the sessions. He is so much more engaged.
It is.
That it's been incredible to just watch. How he has grown and learned and just benefited from being around other entrepreneurs. And I just love watching. Cam and his whole family.
And he's 9.
He's 10 now.
No, 10. He's 10.
He had a birthday.
Yeah. Oh, that's
right.
Birthday. That's right. Kids grow up. I keep forgetting.
Yeah.
So that's.
So here's the beautiful thing about Venture Cafe, right? It's like a miniature conference every week.
It is.
So you come in, you grab your beer after lunch. Then we've got programming, right? From 6 to 8, and it could be anywhere from like 4 to 8 different programs a week. Mm-hmm. And it could be everything from a startup founder's story to a finance person saying about here's how you need to look at your balance sheet. It could be an investor saying this is the way you need to refine your pitch. Mm-hmm. But it's not just about technology, right? We look at a very broad definition of innovation.
Definitely.
So we talk here also about social innovation and civic innovation and urban innovation. What are all the forms of innovation and how can we use the tools of innovation to apply those to the entrenched problems that we have here in Winston-Salem, whether that's concentrated poverty or a lack of educational attainment, or how are we working on the equity problems here? And we want to operate at that intersection of entrepreneurship, innovation, and economic mobility.
One of the biggest things I think I like is the fact of, like you said, it's not just about technology.
Absolutely.
When everybody thinks of an entrepreneur, it's always, okay, you got this tech thing, you got this, what's this, what's the name?
Yeah.
You get,
sure.
And that inclusiveness of, like, to be an entrepreneur in these different sectors doesn't necessarily mean you have to have anything that has to even do with technology. It can just be a different way of thinking or building up something or whatever. And I think y'all really bring to the forefront that type of information and letting people understand that that's what happens when you become an entrepreneur.
Absolutely. And small business and entrepreneurs are in a lot of circles, people isolate them, but I believe that they're very similar, right? A small business is an entrepreneur. If you're running a laundromat, you're an entrepreneur.
Definitely.
If you're building an app, you're an entrepreneur. I don't really make a distinction because we need to increase the rate at which we're starting businesses here.
That's right.
We are losing businesses.
Oh yeah.
Right? So how are we going to start and grow and support the businesses that are here? How are we going to become more self-reliant and less reliant on these big companies that have been the traditional economic powerhouses? We're going to have to innovate our way out of this and start our own businesses out of this.
Do you think the big business, because like I said, like Winston really doesn't have a lot of big quote-unquote businesses that are coming in and being like, oh, we're taking over, because
I think that's great.
And like they really like, put in a lot of places like, no, you ain't gonna be here. I know people caught hell whenever Family Dollar opened up down there by
right on Acadia Street.
Yeah.
Yep.
On Acadia Street.
Yep.
Like, and I was like, okay, it's just a Family Dollar, but it's like that just really shows the neighborhood love and stuff like that. And like, look, we trying to do this for this, and you're gonna have a corporate person come in here and disrupt that. Like, and I was kind of on the fence on both of that, but it's like the way that you're explaining it now, it makes sense. So that's pretty dope.
The history of Winston-Salem is heavily dependent on a cluster of very large companies that were hugely successful for a long time. Now, the shadow side of that, sort of the underbelly of that, is that it made us very reliant on them. It didn't breed an entrepreneurial culture or a culture of risk-taking or a culture of self-directed learning. And those are the things that we need in our community now.
Question. Now, you already know about this. I'm thinking or whatever. what's different between the entrepreneur spirit in maybe a Raleigh-Durham area or a Charlotte area versus the Triad area? Why is the Triad really becoming more of an entrepreneurial type deal and growing faster than the places that didn't have your rentals or your you know, whatever?
One word answer. Alignment. And I'll tell you what I mean. If you go to Charlotte, there is competition among all the entrepreneurial support organizations for turf, for money, for prestige. If you go to RTP and Durham, right, you have a more mature ecosystem, but what you don't have is the urban density that we have here. RTP is basically you drive into that campus at IBM or Cisco or any of the other big tenants there in RTP, and you don't leave that campus for 8 or 10 hours. There's no creative collisions happening. It's all tunnel vision, right? So what's happening here? We, as an ecosystem, are working together on shared strategies, on shared priorities. We're putting together joint grants. We're running prototypes. We're identifying gaps. And we are working together. We're tearing down these silos, not with little tiny chisels, but with sledgehammers, right?
You literally explained everything that I couldn't. Like, I could have asked that question to anybody else. I don't think anybody else would even put it together the way that you said it. Like, for real, because like, I kept thinking, it was like, look, Charlotte's a bigger city. Everyone's like, Charlotte's a bigger city, or, you know, the Raleigh-Durham area is, you know, boom, 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 boom. I'm like, no, like, y'all can't sleep on a Triad. Like,
so
they're really doing.
Let me tell you something. Two things. One, if you talk to some of the statewide leaders in entrepreneurship, they point to the Triad as the most energized and organized ecosystem in the state.
Really?
Yes, sir. And here's another thing. That last fall, I got an email just out of the blue from this like social innovation platform called Swell, right? And they said, look, we've done our homework. We think Winston-Salem is one of the top 5 emerging innovation hubs in the country.
Yes.
I said, rock on, you're right. So they were here for about a week, and they did a bunch of filming and interviews here. And in late February, they put out a video, an 8-minute video that's all about Winston-Salem's resurgence. So go check out this video, right? Go on YouTube and look up Swell America Resurgent Winston-Salem, and you will see this video, and you will see the challenges that we have overcome here in the last 30 years, and get a little hint of direction about where we need to go, some of the problems, and a lot of the work that we still have to do. And there's a lot of work that still needs to be done. Right? But if we can apply the tools of innovation and take some risks, we'll get there a lot faster than if we just rely on our old complacency mindset. And we can't afford that. We have to be bold now. We have to be aggressive now. We have to be collaborative now. And there's just no time for anything else.
That's it. That's it. Yeah, you summed it up perfectly. Give everybody the social media stuff. Give everybody, like, everything. That way they can find you.
So, listen, guys. It's so easy. It's venturecafews.org. It is Facebook, at Venture Cafe WS, #VentureCafeWS. Like, Venture Cafe WS is on everywhere, baby. We're there.
That's it. You see the energy. We're down here at Bailey Park. Pop-up podcast. Promise Mango. Karen, look, the game's over. Entrepreneurship is in the Triad. We're here to stay. We're innovative. And as you said, alignment.
Alignment, man.
That's it.
Hey, come on down here and talk to Promise, because he's the bomb.
Trying to be. See y'all a little bit later.
Thank you so much.
Oh, yeah.
That was awesome. Thank you.
I'll see you later. I will be back.
Yeah, come back like once a month or something.
I'll try to do this. I mean, I've been here a long time.
Let's do it.
So, I got you.
I love it. Send me a link, man. We'll put it out on all of our social media.
Will do.
Yeah.
You're the
best.
I appreciate it.
Great, thank you so much. That was fun.
Excellent. Peace.